All right, I got a confession to make, man. I actually, I actually do like Total Divas.
I don't. I feel like you don't need to cover everything wrestling based though.
Yeah, I've been trying to find something else to cover besides just like WWE right now and NXT. I've been thinking about Ring of Honor. We talked about the show they had recently. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. And fucking Lucha Underground's hard to catch.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh my god, it's amazing. It's so fucking cheesy.
That's what I hear. That they're trying to do like these backstage movie promos and shit.
Yeah, it's like film, like a novella backstage. It actually goes along with the shit that's happening in the ring. So they'll like have like an actual serious match and they go to the backstage locker room or whatever. It's actually filmed like a movie. Like at the fallout of what just happened in the ring.
I feel like that could be fun though. Like if you're clearly catering to sort of a Hispanic Latin audience because it's lucha libre, but if you also throw like a novella in there at the same time, I think it'd be fun.
It's actually pretty open. I mean, it does cater to like a Hispanic crowd, but it's pretty open with the superstars they have there. They have what's his name, fucking
John Morrison.
John Morrison there. They have like they have different people there who a wide audience. Like you can watch this show and enjoy it for what it is, and enjoy the lucha libre wrestling style as well.
I just feel like the novella aspect could be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. You have to check it out.
But it's just it's hard to catch. I don't get fucking El Rey Network.
Yeah, it's just fucking like I feel like everything I want to watch, I can't watch because I don't have the fucking station for it.
Yeah, I don't get Japanese like TV channels, so I can't watch New Japan.
They're supposed to be on Axis, which I do have, but fucking, I don't know the schedule of it, so I have to catch on to that. And TNA is hard to fucking watch when you do catch it.
Yeah. And then why would you want to, I guess?
I don't want to bash TNA. I really don't, but they need to fucking do better. It's just in a situation I want them to be better, but they can't.
Which is sad, because I feel like having another promotion around isn't bad. People got to work. But
Yeah.
I don't know. They need to do a lot to repair their name, and I don't know if they ever can.
I guess we're going to move on to the main show.
I feel like overall I liked it just because the last episode was so bad.
It's like, the last episode was awful. I think about it, but yeah, it's not a bad episode, but I feel like all the in-ring work was just okay. But all the outside ring, all the stuff that's outside the ring was actually pretty good.
And I mean, I guess I feel like for a 3-hour show, they seem to have no roster at all.
Yeah, it felt like it was like 6 matches, the whole thing.
It was, maybe 6.
Yeah, for a 3-hour show, that's pretty awful.
Oh, it was 5 matches if you include Cena Axel.
Oh, well, that doesn't really count.
And it's like, if you have a pretty decent roster, but you have like 4 people who are on like every episode, they might as well have called this like WWE Rollins. Because this motherfucker opened the show, closed the show, showed up in the middle of the show, like...
Alright, let's talk about the Rollins promo. The opening of the show. Alright, so like he comes down, he talks a little shit about, Jon Stewart. And then we get the music.
I'm not gonna do it.
Well, give us a little bit of Reigns music.
Because
he has no personality. I don't want to bash him, but I fucking will. Because it's for his own good. He has no personality, so he's still using the Shields music and the Shields attire. He comes down to the crowd for absolutely no reason, because all this wasn't related to him at all. And
well, he's the new Cena. He's doing the Cena interrupting the promo that has nothing to do with him.
Yeah, so he comes down, he does a little shit talk, and then actually I can't really remember exactly. Did he just come down and not say anything and just get criticized first?
Rollins was talking about how he's like better looking than everybody, and he can eat more than Mark Henry, and
yeah, but he was talking all that shit, and then Reigns comes down. I don't remember getting on the mic until like after he was addressed by by Rollins. And Rollins was talking shit about, say he's better than him, and he can wrestle better than him, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and then he did the whole, like, I'll punch you in the mouth thing.
Reigns' first thing was, I'm out here just to hear the crowd, like, tell you suck more.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. He does come out there and say something, you know, a little cheesy.
He's going for the cheeky.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I remember basically coming down to the ring. I remember him talk a little bit of shit. They confront each other. He does the whole "gonna punch in the mouth" thing, and then doesn't Randy Orton come down, or his music hits?
I don't think in that promo he does. I think it's just J&J Security gets punched.
Yeah.
And then like we go off the air, I believe, to something else.
It was an awful way to start. Long story short, Wrestling struggling through remembering what the fuck happened at the very beginning of Raw.
Yeah, and I rewatched it today, which is sad.
Let's move on to the next promo.
Well, the next thing we get is Ambrose Barrett.
Which wasn't a bad match. I feel like they talked to the whole fucking thing.
Like, what's sad about Ambrose Barrett, Barrett's champion, no entrance, already in the ring.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett.
Well, he has been losing lately, like, to basically everyone else that he's is going to be in the match with him, right?
He fucking lost to fucking Ambrose today.
Yeah, no, he lost to fucking R-Truth not that long before that.
And we had R-Truth on commentary.
Which I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, he's kind of funny, but he's just kind of like, you know, just whatever, basically.
He's doing all this fashizzle shit that hasn't been popular in like 20 years. I was like, well, he might as well start singing "What's Up" at any moment, or fucking, what was him and Road Dogg's song?
Oh, I can't even remember what the fuck it was.
He might as well start doing that shit. I kind of like some of the insider shit he was talking about, where he's like, we need step ladders for like Hornswoggle and Dean Malenko.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
It's like, I like that, but when he started being all like goofy and shit, sneaking around, I was like, I don't need any of this on TV.
It's kind of sad. It feels like they're trying to do something with him, so I can't really knock them for using him for something. But it's just like, I don't know, man. I think he has a couple of years left where he can actually do something with his career.
Man, like, R-Truth is fucking like 50 years old.
I know he's pretty old. He's old as fuck. I feel like he's at that point in which he's just like there for a paycheck, which is fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he goes up there, he loses to Bray Wyatt. Would he need Bray Wyatt to beat someone real quick, or
he lose to Rusev when Rusev was beating every like black superstar they had on the roster?
yeah. What the fuck was that all about?
I don't know. I have no idea, because it was like Big E, Rusev, or Big E, Truth, basically the whole New Day.
Yeah, basically.
Titus. I mean, eventually somebody else got in there to lose, but goddamn, I don't know.
They probably threw in fucking Jack Swagger just to mix things up a little.
I think the internet was like talking about it, and they're like, "Oh shit, Adam Rose, get out there, take a loss."
Yeah, I think Jack Swagger should have been the person to beat Rusev, or at least, like, for my opinion, I think it should have been Ryback to actually take the belt from him. Because they didn't get into a feud. They had a feud going on, and then Ryback got fired, and then that shit just moved on.
Yeah, well, that fucking... I mean, we're still talking about the Intercontinental scene right now.
Yeah.
So, like, they're doing their let's build people up just for a match, which is the only reason we're getting R-Truth on TV at all.
Yeah, basically.
And it's like I was saying earlier about their roster. If they had a lot of people that you cared about, it would be a bigger deal. But I don't want to see R-Truth at all.
I don't mind seeing him. It's just, you know, he's not really bringing anything to the, you know, I feel like he's not going to win it, basically. Let's be honest. He's not going to win the Intercontinental Championship.
No. Like I said, it's one of these we have to build somebody up just to be in a match. Yeah. And it's not like a long time ago when it would just be people wrestled all the time, so you had an idea of who they were and kind of the matches they would have. So, I don't know.
I'm a little confused about that, because later on, well, I'm skipping ahead. I'm going to talk about that later. But I wanted to mention Daniel Bryan, but we'll talk about that later when we get to that match.
Alright.
But yeah, I was just a little confused about who's actually in the fucking Intercontinental Championship match.
Well, they've confirmed it's like a 6-way ladder match, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you know, Wade Barrett's going to be in it. And
it's Barrett,
Dean Ambrose,
Luke Harper, R-Truth, Ziggler, Bryan.
Okay, so that's what I say. Brian. So Brian actually is in it.
Yeah, and we'll kind of get into Brian and all that, like when the match takes place.
Yeah, so basically, I feel like they talked over the whole fucking like match, and it just like focused more on this is basically this built up the match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I hate all this stealing the belt comedy shit that's going on.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it has been done before, but
But I don't know who this comedy's for. Vince McMahon is probably the only person who's like, I love it. Have some fun, damn it.
Yeah, knee slapping.
He's pushing Stephanie into the pool and shit like that. Like, did you hear his Austin interview where he's all like, and then I would push Triple H into the pool and we'd all laugh and...
Oh my god, that was so sad. He was really trying his best to fucking like... He's like, I'm not behind. I know what's going on. I'm not out of touch. The whole interview just...
Hell, I push people into the pool, goddammit.
Yeah, we're still doing that, right? Pushing people in the pool is still fun, right?
He still wears Zubaz pants, right?
I tell you, he's so out of touch. Is ridiculous.
So next we got the Sandow Miz commercial.
Yeah, and it wasn't awful. It was kind of funny, but
this fits perfectly into our Vince McMahon is out of touch with comedy kind of shit. Because this whole like Niagara pill and I don't know, I didn't like it.
It probably would have flew back in the 90s.
Yeah, back when we were still like laughing at fucking boobs and Val Venus's like t-shirt written in steaming.
Yeah, other than that cost around like the early 2000s.
So like I didn't think it was funny the whole Niagara pill thing, but this is all just the one big excuse to kind of stretch out the feud until Mania.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I actually kind of like what Miz's heel work is being right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like, I feel like he's a hateable guy, and he can really play up being hateable.
Do you feel like they actually stressed out the storyline between the two a little too long to the point that it should have ended a long time ago, but now they're stretching it out even more just to make it to Mania?
I feel like when they originally did the gimmick, they didn't expect it to get over as big as it did. And once they realized they had something, their plans were immediately, let's save it till Mania. And because they had nothing for them to do in the meantime, it's just, I would say it's too stressed out.
There's a lot just riding out. Or who do you think is going to win, or what do you think happens to Sandow afterwards?
Well, like, clearly we all know Sandow's going to probably beat The Miz at Mania, which I guess we'll give Mania predictions when it's closer.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Sandow on his own without The Miz would be. He's probably, like, in this promo, The Miz was telling him, you would have been fired if it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's probably true. Like, what was Sandow doing? Dressing up like astronauts and basketball players and shit?
I feel like they kind of dropped the ball with certain little segments. Like, they had one particular Raw in which, I think it was like a SmackDown in which The Miz lost to Sin Cara.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Raw, they had Mizdow going against him, and he lost as well. I think they missed a point. They missed a chance to actually put Mizdow over beating Sin Cara. And like kind of showing like they could have shown he's kind of better than Miz.
I feel like that's what we're gonna get leading up to Mania. Like in the next 3 weeks, we'll probably get like Sandow's more capable than The Miz, and it'll be a way to build interest into the match.
Yeah. Move on to the next one.
Sure. Bray Wyatt promo.
All right, how about that Bray Wyatt promo? Look at my fucking cat. He just stared at me now. He like climbed right next to the screen, and now he's just looking at me. All right, let's move on to the next segment, the Bray Wyatt promo with The Undertaker. Well, not with The Undertaker, but for The Undertaker, I guess. He's actually been talking for both of them this whole time. He's actually been carrying the whole feud by himself.
I feel like a lot of people have been doing that, like, in the past couple of years. Like, when Punk was feuding with Taker, it was mostly Punk selling the match.
Yeah.
Or like Heyman was selling the match with Lesnar.
Yeah. Like, actually, well, I'll get to that later, but basically Heyman has a tough job. He has to sell you both Reigns and Lesnar, because they both can't really do good promos.
I feel like Heyman could sell anything. Like, Heyman could sell ice to an Eskimo or a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves if he wanted to.
Have you seen this movie?
No.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. But we'll get to that later. We'll talk about that another day. But yeah, it's definitely it's definitely worth watching.
I would say my favorite thing about the Bray Wyatt promo, before like getting into the actual what happened, is people online going like, "Oh man, who's he talking to?"
Yeah.
And it's like, of course it's the fucking Undertaker. He's building a damn casket. Who else is he talking to? Andre the Giant himself? He's just talking to every dead wrestler.
I knew immediately after like his second promo, like he's dropping little hints that I think like some people in the audience are like too stupid to catch on to. But yeah, he's been dropping hints for a long time.
Like I would say the worst part about Bray Wyatt's promos is that like he's got no one to kind of bounce off of, so it's just him going out there and giving a long speech.
Yeah.
And it would help if, you know, he had someone to argue with, basically, to give like a back and forth instead of being like, "I see things, man. You don't know what I see."
Wouldn't recommend it, man.
One of those vets that wears the bandana.
I mean, it would be cool to have someone to bounce it off of. You think that they may have The Undertaker answer him before WrestleMania, or it's going to be a situation of they're going to milk it all the way to WrestleMania. They're going to have like the match happen in which Bray Wyatt comes out. He's like, "Where are you, Undertaker?" and shit. And we don't know what's going to happen, and then the lights drop and the music hit.
I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen. But usually the Raw before Mania is like in the area.
Yeah.
So all the people are there already. So that would be the time, I feel like, if we're ever going to get Undertaker showing up, that would be it.
Yeah, because they've been extra vague this time, I think. And I think it's because of last year the streak being broken and people assuming that he's retired. So they've actually milked it out like, is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? And that's really smart on their end of doing that. And especially letting Bray Wyatt call him out like that and actually try to carry the whole thing by himself, not knowing if it's going to happen. So it's been really smart. So I think, yeah, like maybe the night before, but I have a feeling they may actually go, like actually till Mania, would have been like unknown if it's going to be a match or not.
Yeah, and then with people talking about, like on the internet, whether or not Taker could even wrestle anymore or how his health is, I guess it helps to keep the story alive, sort of.
Yeah.
And I do like the idea that Bray Wyatt, you know, he's trying to be like a spooky guy, and his hero was The Undertaker. And now that The Undertaker's been beaten and looks like a big, like, bitch,
Yeah.
you know, Bray Wyatt's like, I want to see the old Undertaker, and I want to, you know, prove to everybody that you could still be the dead man and all this shit. The idea behind it is good.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that they buried Wyatt so much over the past year, it doesn't really do much for the audience.
Let's be honest. Cena buried Wyatt.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you run into Cena, you're just like never the same ever again. It's like it's like a vagina having a baby. It's just not the same afterwards. Just never the same afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. The Wyatt feud was stretched out too long and didn't please anybody after that.
But yeah, like he went through a bad time of just like cutting okay promos against like no one, or just like saying like God knows what the fuck, and then he came back super strong against Dean Ambrose for a while, and that actually built him up. And I think the whole Dean Ambrose feud, it started off with them wanting to put like Bray Wyatt over, knowing he's gonna go against the Undertaker eventually in the future.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Rumble. That's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. Alright, let's talk about Tyson Kidd and Cesaro going against, like, you know, the Usos. It's a match we've already seen. Yeah, we saw it when they took the belts from them, and we've been seeing it fucking ever since. And
I feel like we saw it a bunch of times before they took the belt.
Yeah.
They weren't even a tag team that long.
Yeah, it just feels like they don't have many actual tag teams to actually put them against. I mean, like real fucking tag teams. Like we only have like they only have like what the Usos. They're bringing in the Lucha Dragons, and they got like the Ascension, but they don't have like like the one name tag teams. They have a bunch of dudes just thrown together.
They have other tag teams, you just never see them. Matadors, fucking what's millions of dollars?
What?
Fucking Titus O'Neil and what's his name, who hasn't been around at all.
Oh, Tyson, they just got back together. The fucking like
one-time players.
Yeah, they just barely got back together. They're barely starting to do stuff. Like they beat the Ascension, so they're finally in a decent feud, and I guess they won a match. So they're finally getting pushed.
I mean, you got them. I don't like you have a few other teams out there, but once again, it's like nobody gets enough screen time to make you even give a shit.
All right, now so we're moving on from them.
Oh man, I had more to say about the Wyatt thing, real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
So basically, he sets the casket on fire that he's with, and he pours like gasoline on it, and then he lights the lighter, but it looks like the lighter goes out when he touches the casket, and the lighter goes out. Like if you go back and watch it, you can clearly see the flame go off. It goes to touch it to the casket. The casket goes up like not as big as it should. He just poured gasoline all over it. It should be like on fire.
Yeah.
It slowly dies out. And I could swear to God, I think they fucking added fake like fire noise to the fire.
Oh my God.
I don't know if they show like replays on the network, but if you catch that, it's like a crackling sound that wasn't really there.
I did actually I DVR'd it. I had to go back and watch it. The way they treat Raw on the network is kind of strange. I guess because for TV rights, it's a little delayed.
Yeah, I mean I understand.
Yeah,
they have their deal with USA.
Yeah, so it's a couple of weeks delayed, I think, or so. Yeah.
But I feel like the best thing about this, and it was something I genuinely liked, was at the end she's crying and being like, "Why'd you tag me in? My ankle hurts."
Yeah.
And she starts crying, and we got to see legitimate somebody run game on goddamn Raw. Because she's crying. Tyson Kidd does what we all would do. He hugs her knowing that it would shut her up.
Yeah.
And to let you know that he also knows that he's just running game, he's hugging her, smile to the camera, go back to act like he gives a shit.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, Tyson Kidd makes a great dick, a great douche. And I think that he don't really use him as much. I think he finally made Cesaro a heel. I think Cesaro's such a likable guy. He could just come out there and talk shit about the crowd. We still love him.
Even in the match, I feel like Cesaro came off as like a good guy. Like when he was trying to get in between them and play like mediator.
Yeah.
I think they work well as a tag team. I like watching them. The Usos are pretty good when they're not just doing super kicks.
Yeah. Super kicks, they jump over the ropes. Basically, that's all they do. Yeah.
They're like the Young Bucks if the Young Bucks had like 50 billion less moves still.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was legitimately the only thing I liked about the match. And we're going to get it probably 4 more times.
Yeah.
Before goddamn Mania. But
you think we have a title change at Mania?
I hope not. But that'll be a thing we get into once we get into talking about Mania.
Yeah. Let's move on to the John Cena promo. He comes down and he wants to fight Rusev, and then Stephanie McMahon comes out and she just basically treats him like a hoe. Talks down to him.
I mean, there's something to this promo that I like. Stephanie saying, "You're not just going to announce yourself in a match," which I wish more people, like the Authority, would do more often.
Yeah, because he did come down to say he's going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, right?
Yeah.
Like it started off with that, and then she came out, she put him in his place, let him know that, he'll be nowhere without WWE.
I mean, I like the idea that I wish they would do that more whenever Cena loses and he's like, "I want a rematch." because Cena will give you like 50 billion rematches.
Yeah.
And I wish somebody would just go, you don't run shit around here. You're not declaring your own rematch.
Yeah.
But this was all just one big... I mean, this is all like wasting time until Mania, where John Cena's got to overcome the odds.
Yeah. They still try to sell him as the underdog. Which I'll get to later, because now they're trying to do the same thing to Reigns. Well, not really. They're kind of trying to, but not really succeeding.
Well, we'll get into that at the end of the show.
But yeah, it was pretty cool to see, like, someone just tell him, like, no, what, you don't deserve a rematch, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is one big way to make it seem like, well, Cena lost to Rusev, now he's going to be serious about taking on Rusev again.
Yeah, this time he means business.
Yeah, he's serious. You hear the crowd booing him?
Yeah.
And I think it's just playing up to everyone's, feelings of we're tired of seeing Cena and this is it. And I feel like we could speculate that this is Cena's way of being more like on a Legends contract almost.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's a big name, he only shows up to do big stuff. And I would like them to go that route of him putting over like younger people and being a big deal when he shows up.
Yeah.
But they want to sell merchandise, so it's not going to happen.
Well, the deal is with Cena, he's at a point in which like he doesn't need a belt. It doesn't matter anymore. I mean, it's kind of cool. He'll get the U.S. Championship, and I guess bring some kind of prestige to it. But he doesn't need a championship. He's Cena. So, he pulls like in so many big numbers. It just doesn't really matter anymore.
I mean, he said it in this promo, like, I'm 15-time world champion. Like, at that point, what else is there to do?
Yeah. So I think he could take a loss. He could lose to a couple of younger people and put over some young talent. It won't even faze him.
It shouldn't. I mean, it should be like when Shawn Michaels would come back every once in a while. Or Jericho. Let's say more like Jericho.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Jericho. He'll talk on the mic. He'll have a feud. I mean, the only bad thing about that example is we know Jericho's going to lose, but...
Yeah, but he can wear a fuck off a scarf, though.
Yeah. He's got to go tour with Fozzy for, like, the 30 people that go to all those shows.
Yeah.
But I think he should be more like that.
Yeah, I can see that happen. I mean, yeah, he's at that point, so... Yeah, he's going to retire probably soon. He's getting older. And, he doesn't really... There's not much they can do with him, basically. He's basically done everything.
I mean, I feel like it's pointless to say he's going to retire, or he should turn heel, which is the other popular thing to say.
Yeah, I don't think he'd do good as a heel.
It's just not going to happen. He sells merchandise. He's money. And if you want to continue to print money, you got to keep John Cena around. But
yeah,
I feel like because they have Reigns now, and they want Reigns to be the big deal, they want Reigns to open and close the show. You know, it's best to put Cena kind of on the back burner.
Yeah, they've added Reigns to the actual intro more, basically. I think he opens up the intro. Does he close the intro as well? Something like that. Well, he's
skip right past it.
He's featured very prominent in the intro of the show now.
But so the best part of this whole exchange was fucking Axelmania showing up.
Oh yeah, that was the best part. I think he finally found what actually matches his character. I mean, they brought him in. What I didn't understand with the reason of why they were actually bring him in and center him so much on his dad being Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, but change his name to Curtis Axel.
It was supposed to be like Kurt like his dad and then Axel like his uncle. Like, I get it. I also like the idea that you're trying to be your own guy.
Did they just fucking Rocky Maivia him?
Huh?
It's like they just totally Rocky Maivia him.
Well, they probably should have Rocky Maivia him. Like, go out there, have people boo him, and then have him be like, fuck all y'all.
No, I mean, like, they basically took away from, like, his grandfather and then his father.
Oh,
and just, like, threw them together.
Johnson, High Chief Peter Maivia.
Yeah, just threw them together.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about, like, the way Rocky turned into The Rock.
Oh, no, that was epic. But
that was all The Rock doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they're at a point at which, like, they don't get a chance to actually experiment with their characters anymore and actually have fun and actually be themselves. They're told what to be and how to act, and and they're trained to wrestle a certain way and do things a certain way, and then WWE looks for like what's different in a group that they're told to be exactly the same.
I mean, I know people don't like Curtis Axel, and they have good reason not to.
Yeah.
But I think he's a decent wrestler. I think just in the ring, he's decent at what he does.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was training with The Rock to get Rock back into, like, WrestleMania shape. And The Rock was like, this guy's a good dude, and he can wrestle. And,
yeah.
You know, maybe this is the character he needs to go from, like, loser guy to somebody.
Well, I think they're going to have him win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
I think that'd be fun. But
yeah.
I think once we get closer to WrestleMania, I'll say who I really think is going to win that.
Yeah. I just have a feeling because he's been, you know, milking the whole he hasn't been eliminated for the Royal Rumble thing for a while.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I feel like, you know, they did not even turn it to Axelmania. I think he's going to probably win it. I hope he wins it.
I mean, I like him coming out there and being like, I've been in the Royal Rumble for 35 days and, you know, I'm the greatest competitor the Royal Rumble has ever seen.
Yeah. Someone brought to my attention that Spike Dudley was never eliminated in the Royal Rumble. And it's been like has been in it for like 11 years now.
Really? That's funny. I mean, if you ever, I guess you would have to track it down because nobody watches SmackDown. But there was a promo between Axel and Ryback where Ryback, you know, because they're friends, went to him and was like, I'm going to be a singles guy now.
I remember that, yeah.
And Axel was like, you know, we can team up every once in a while to lose. And then they kind of had a laugh and they like hugged it out and went their own way. I feel like they have personality. Like, it's another one of these, if you give a guy like a chance to show some personality, maybe he'll go to mid-card. You know, I don't think Curtis Axel will be world champion, but why not mid-card, man?
He could be a U.S. champion. Wait, was he U.S. champion at one point?
He was Intercontinental.
Intercontinental, that's what it was. But he can actually make it out there as a decent wrestler, decent mid-carder. I mean, he went to NXT and did pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like NXT is just if you're a good wrestler, you can make it in NXT.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I feel like Curtis Axel just needs give him some personality.
Yeah,
I could say that about a lot of people. Big E, my constant of like, you please, for the love of God, let this guy talk.
Yeah, I think they dropped the ball with New Day.
Yeah, man, yeah.
I mean, they had potential to do something really nice with it, really, really good, but I think it's a lot of fear of getting some kind of backlash. So,
I mean, like, if you want another example of somebody who has an outside personality that they need to bring in, fucking, damn, what's his name? I want to call him Consequences Creed.
Yeah, that's fucking, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Damn. Well, anyways, that guy, when he was in NXT,
yeah,
he wore like the Black Power Ranger, like black and white diamonds and shit. And he was billed as being from Angel Grove.
Yeah.
And you know, the man's he's smart, as we know by his fucking doctorate that he's gonna get and all that. And he's got kind of a nerd personality, which we don't have on TV at all.
Yeah.
And if you ever like on YouTube, there's a visiting the homes of superstars. And they have one with Kofi Kingston, and Kofi Kingston's got like the Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII replica in his house, and
yeah,
why not? And fucking Big E reads comic books. Why not just make them a bunch of dudes who are like you and me and other people who watch wrestling?
Yeah, just
go
nerds.
out there and like whoop ass.
Yeah, they're just basically nerds. I mean, race doesn't have anything to really do with it. To be honest, I think they're trying to go for like a church feel to it, like a black church feel, but not really say it's a black church feel and just call it something else. It suffers for like not really having a definite identity, I guess, is what they're doing. Why not just go with them just being nerds and just being, or what they were doing before when fucking I can't think of his Xavier Woods.
Yes, that's his
name. The name he goes by in WWE. I knew him for Consequences Creed as well. But why not have Xavier Woods do what he did before? He came out there and cut a brilliant promo with Kofi Kingston and Big E lost, and he kind of made it seem like he was forming some kind of militant group or whatever.
And you know the coolest thing about that only happened once, and I think it was on like Main Event.
It happened yeah.
So they go out there, and it's a 3-way, or it's a 2-on-2 against Slater Gator.
Yeah.
And did you see this?
I think I did. When we're out there, they just kind of stood around, like talking and stuff.
No, they went out there and wrestled.
Oh.
And they were dominating, and Big E was beating the shit out of Heath Slater.
Yeah.
And he tags in Tyson O'Neil.
Yeah.
And he tagged so it's basically a match, and they've got them beat they beat them down.
Mm-hmm.
And they can pin Titus O'Neil. But fucking Xavier Woods tells Big E, no, we don't pin him. We pinned him. And they point to Heath Slater.
Yeah.
And they drag Heath Slater in and beat the shit out of him. And I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they're doing this.
I think personally, I know I might get a lot of slack for this. People might get pissed off at me for this. And it's not the best thing to bring up during our first episode of on the show.
Is it Red Tails? This better not be Red Tails.
I fucking hate that movie. I fucking hate that movie. No, I personally think they were onto something. And people were interested in it, and people were wanting this really, really bad. And Ferguson happened and kind of fucked everything up.
Yeah, I mean, there was even a time, like let's say a month ago, where the New Day was out there, and they said, somebody, I think Xavier Woods said, like, come out here and we're nice, because you don't want to see what happens when we don't be nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, then they're going to do the thing they did when they were beating the shit out of Heath Slater. But no, that came to nothing as well.
Yeah.
And the time, it's not really the right environment for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been super cool to see.
It was really badass, like when it first came out, and they were no one knew what they were going to do and what was going on next. But yeah, I think the whole thing in Ferguson happened because it just kind of ruined everything because immediately they disbanded and they started wearing their regular colors again, like wherever they were wearing, wherever the outfits they were wearing originally when they were singles competitors, and WWE started actually testing them as heels and faces after a while, like in nothing but house shows.
Yeah. But when you do that, when you have no direction for them, how the hell do you expect them to get over?
Yeah, they come out and just want you to cheer for them and shit. They're basically like a group of like our troops now.
Which is like, when you think about it, Kofi Kingston has like Jamaican colors, or he did. He had the green and black.
Yeah.
Big E wears like the green, what is it, like green, black, yellow, and red.
Yeah.
Fuck. Xavier Woods, I almost called him Consequences Creed again.
I think I like the better as Consequences Creed.
It's a more memorable name, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But, he had his, like, black and some other colors. Why didn't they just give him, like, that? Like, make them stand out instead of this bright blue horse. I get what they're doing with the, like, gospel robes and shit.
Yeah, I think they don't really know how to... It's like they don't want to fully say what they are. And I think they're really playing it safe, where they don't want to offend anyone. But it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's another case of just not knowing what to do with somebody.
Yeah.
And speaking of not knowing what to do with somebody, right after that promo, we got the John Cena Curtis Axel match.
Oh yeah, and that is kind of like. By the way, I actually mentioned this. It's okay for John Cena to go out there and smile and I'll never give up, and you should never give up and stuff for the kids. But when he's pissed off, I guess it's okay for him to beat the shit out of people. And, not pin them and then, put him in a submission anyway. He was very heel-like.
It's supposed to be John Cena's taking it serious.
Yeah.
But, like we were saying with New Day, Curtis Axel has a gimmick that was over with that crowd.
Yeah.
But what do they do? Not give him any offense and just squash him like he ain't shit?
I don't think they wanted him. Well, no, let me rephrase. I don't think they thought he was going to get that over.
Yeah, I could see that.
it was already pre-planned for him to come out there and kind of say some bullshit and then, get his ass kicked by Cena. But I think it was more of they didn't expect him to come out there and work it the way he did.
Well, I feel like in the ring they should have called an audible and let Axel get like some offense.
You think Cena's gonna do that?
No.
But I really believe it was more of they didn't really think he was gonna get it over. He did. I think it's more of not knowing their talent
or not trusting their audience.
Yeah. All right. Next we had Triple H and Booker T. Well, Triple H came out and he addressed the audience, talked about Sting and talked about WCW because they can't talk about TNA. Because yeah.
Sting just disappeared for like 14 years.
Yeah, he was just gone. He roamed the earth like Kane.
He was roaming the rafters of every building they've been to.
Yeah, so he just gone for a while, and they just eventually comes back. Wanting revenge for WCW, which is their storyline to go with. Never mind any of TNA stuff, but I think they probably might. To be honest, if TNA went out of business, I think WWE would probably purchase them for their video collection.
I don't see why not. You would get a lot of your talent, like your older people, in matches that you could put on DVDs and sell. Yeah,
but that's off subject. But basically, yeah. So he's been roaming the earth for a while. Yeah, and he finally comes back to WWE. Well, finally comes to WWE, and the whole promo was just basically Triple H hates WCW so much. He's still not over the whole invading WCW with tanks and stuff.
I thought you were gonna say he's not over the whole terrorizing.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's when it really started, terrorizing. Yeah, he's still not over that. So he just wants to put everyone in WCW out of the business or so. So he takes it out on Booker T. And kind of makes a point that he runs everything. And for a moment, when he fired Booker T and Booker T was walking out the ring, I actually really did think it was serious. He's going to be gone for probably the rest of the episode.
I want to say they should have, but I think the whole firing Booker T shouldn't have been there at all.
Well, I thought it was going to go somewhere. I figured because, Booker T actually is running his own wrestling organization right now, and he had a reformation of Harlem Heat. So I thought it was their way of writing him off TV, so he could go do that.
So he can do reality of wrestling. We should know this. We're in Houston.
Yeah. But yeah.
Speaking of which, we should go to a show one day.
Actually, I want to go train one day.
Just for fun?
Yeah, I actually want to do a couple of classes and just chronicle them for the website. The website, SatelliteZiggler.com.
You can use your idea of minutes work.
Yeah. That's SatelliteZiggler.com.
But I mean, it was just weird, I guess, because when you think about the WrestleMania stuff that happened with Triple H and Booker T, it felt like just Triple H fucking putting Booker T down more.
Yeah.
If you remember all that, people like you shouldn't have the belt. And then he had to be criminals like you shouldn't have the belt.
Yeah.
And, unless they were going to for real do something to Booker T, I felt like maybe it's just me bringing in all the backstory to it, that I felt like he was just fucking with him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason for it. I mean, it stands out because, there was no resolve to it. He just kind of fucked with him and then let him go. I really did think it was real just because of, reality of wrestling. Yeah, which he wanted he wanted the belts with that anyway, just to mention that. Of course, you're not going to get back together and not win the tag team championships in his own company. But
let's leave that alone. I feel like it's just his way of, we'll get the belts, get some, press about it, and then drop it to, an up-and-coming team.
Yeah, because
I feel like he's not going to legitimately be like, I'm running all this, and look how great I am.
Yeah, I think Warrior did the same thing, didn't he?
I don't know.
I think he did have an organization or something, or he was part of it, and he came back and won the championship, and then dropped the belt the next day.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was from what was it? I forgot the name of the wrestler, But he was the first openly bisexual wrestler, but no one talked about him because he wasn't signed to WWE.
What was his name? I remember in TNA he was doing like a Lady Gaga gimmick that I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah. I think Warrior came back, won the strap, and then he just dropped it like the next night or so. But that's totally off subject.
I feel like the Triple H promo, because he talked to Flair last week, and this week is Booker T. He's basically talking to WCW guys, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like Triple H needs to just own the fact that he destroyed WCW when they came to WWF. It's almost like he doesn't want to give Sting a real reason to win, or he doesn't want to put over the fact that he was burying everybody in WCW.
Yeah, it also comes down to, it doesn't really say Sting has really any incentive to do anything there.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that he's not there talking. Once again, like we were saying with Bray Wyatt, it's a lot to put on somebody to carry a whole feud just, talking at the audience.
Yeah, and not everyone can do it well. I mean, Bray Wyatt's pulled it off. And I could say, aside from overhyping Reigns at times, Paul Heyman's done very well. But Triple H is struggling. It's just a lot of, I hate WCW.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why he brings on Booker T and Ric Flair, so he can have someone to argue with.
He's like, oh, that WCW that we put out of business that we own now. Fuck them.
Yeah, but you need somebody who was at WCW to kind of be like, no, this is worth it, and guess what, audience, Sting was a big deal. I know some of you have never seen him before.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just, I guess it was fine. It's just a lot to ask of somebody.
Yeah. All right, the next thing was Paige and Nikki Bella. I've always said that it feels every time a diva's going against one of the Bellas, they wrestle just a little shittier than they usually do. It's like, it says their matches either end very quick or just squash matches, or it just, I don't know, just something about it. I just feel like they hold back some of their talent.
And I'm pretty sure it is the Bella Twins fucking, saying what they should do and what they shouldn't do. I mean, they're boning the two most popular guys in WWF right now. WWE.
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble with that.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I watched this match and I wanted to be fair. And I guess Nikki Bella is getting better, and she's a lot better than maybe the first time I've seen them wrestle, or the last couple of times.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, just something about the way she moves in the ring. It's like she's very stiff with everything. And not as in, she hits hard, but...
Yeah.
She doesn't move well.
She's very awkward. It's not natural for her at all. And maybe they weren't required to do much in tag team form. Yeah.
Besides Twin Magic, which they can't do anymore.
Yeah.
But it's there was one part where Paige pushes Nikki into the ropes, and you can see her you can see Nikki shuffle her feet to kind of slow down the momentum of going into the ropes.
Yeah.
Or she goes to take a move, she throws an elbow, I believe. And it's just very stiff and in place. It's not, I don't know. It was just odd, is all I'll say.
I want to admit that it was one of the better matches. I mean, I actually enjoyed this match more than the other matches they've had. Simply because I felt Paige was actually able to put on some kind of show with her. Because usually very one-sided.
Yeah, but this is another one of those matches we've seen to death. How many times has Paige and one of the Bellas wrestled on TV?
Yeah, but I think this is one of the better ones where she can actually beat Paige, actually do some of the moves that she usually does with other divas, but for some reason, she just don't remember when she's wrestling one of the Bellas. And it got to the point that even with Brie interfering with the match, I was actually fine with it. I was like, at least, Paige had a decent match with her.
One of the things about the Paige Bella match that, once again, how I said with the Cesaro Usos thing.
Yeah.
Was, I think one of the only things I took away from it was, Paige singing her theme song when she was on the apron. I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But, we get fucking AJ returning.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And this is after she made those comments too.
Yeah, the give divas a chance or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, I guess I was kind of hoping, like I said, I don't want a fantasy book or anything, but I was kind of hoping like the Bella thing would be a reason to bring up Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
That would be her way of fucking keeping both Bellas from fucking her over so much.
Yeah.
But, you know, AJ came back. We got fucking CM Punk chants the whole time he was out there.
Yeah, but I think it's disrespectful.
You know, why not chant fucking AJ? I don't know.
Have you ever heard that interview with CM Punk with Colt Cabana?
Yeah.
Yeah, he even mentioned it. He doesn't understand if it's like a sign of respect to his wife or not, but he doesn't know how to take it. But he's basically like, you know, it's his wife. You know, chant his wife's name. And I think a lot of people listened to that and actually took it to heart. And before she left, we were getting a lot of AJ chants, and they also got a lot of AJ chants to counteract the CM Punk chants for a while. But I guess, like, you know, she goes away for a little while. It wasn't Philly, right?
Yeah, no, it was New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah. So,
which shouldn't be a big deal because AJ is from New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Like that she still gets the CM Punk chance. And I was like, you know, he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
He fucking left the company. I mean, I don't want to bash him. I'm not going to bash him because I understand the reasons why he would leave. But you know, you got to look at it from both sides. The reasons why he would leave the company versus him walking out on a contract. You know, it sucks. I mean, it sucks the way the WWE handled things. It also sucks the way he handled things as well.
Yeah, and to get back to the match.
Yeah.
I feel like the only reason this match went as long as it did was because of the Twitter, like, give Divas a chance kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because it went, like, its segment, commercial, and then into another segment.
Yeah, I was surprised it made it past, like, a fucking, you know, commercial break.
I mean, but it still didn't help the idea that I didn't care very much. And I would blame that mostly on it's just a match I've seen a lot, or I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's a little too late for the WWE main roster to really just start catching on, like the Divas division after the bullshit we've been put through for years. I mean, yeah, they'll start, like, certain matches they could put together. Like, I think the Naomi-Natalya match would be great, but
yeah, if you give that 10 minutes, I'm sure that'll be great.
Yeah,
like bring up any of your NXT people, that'd be great.
Yeah, but like with the Bellas and all right now, like how they're pushing things, because you know they're behind the Bellas right now, and it's mainly because of the show, you know, Total Divas and all that jazz. But it's like they did try to give them a little bit more time. I really do appreciate that. And I think it would never happen if it wasn't for the Give Divas a Chance thing. Like, it would like had that controversy happen, and they did the same shit they did, like, what, last week, I think? They had a tag team match. Yeah. It just would look bad. It just would look totally bad.
I mean, I'm sure we can do this another day of talking about that Give Divas a Chance, but I feel like it was a case of they did give the Divas a chance. And they just didn't put on anything I really cared about, I guess. Yeah,
they gotta give the right Divas a chance, I guess.
Yeah, or I guess block out a better match. Like, maybe, I don't know. So we got Seth Rollins' Daily Show.
Yeah, that happened. Seth Rollins comes out, has a Daily Show set up for him. He's just, like, you know, talking a lot of bullshit, as he was doing before. Like, the whole thing with Josh doing to him, it was old school Raw, old school fun, you know, like, you don't really take it serious.
Alright, I mean, it's what you would expect from, like, when they used to do the guest host. It was fine. It wasn't terrible. I feel like Jon Stewart came across as somebody who actually watches wrestling.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you know, what you did here, and he was bringing up examples and shit. He brought up stuff I forgot that happened. Like how Rollins won the belt, or won the briefcase because Kane interfered. Like, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, what I liked about it is, like, on the internet, they were making fun of the fact that he could have been a promo than Reigns. He's not even a wrestler.
I mean, he talks for a living.
Yeah, that's what he does, you know. So, Yeah, it was enjoyable to see, and he kept it funny.
Yeah, I wasn't offended by it at all. It wasn't like Kathy Lee and Hodo.
Everyone smacking each other on the ass with champagne bottles, and people were like, "What the fuck are we watching?"
And then they tried to do the trust fall, and then fucking Kathy. I don't know. Fuck it. Let's
move on for that. That was awful.
Let's move on to the Brian Luke Harper match.
Yeah, those were dark days, my friend. Dark days.
AKA like 4 months ago.
All right, Luke Harper and Daniel Bryan. Since they came out of nowhere, really.
I mean, it's the IC title thing.
I didn't expect Daniel Bryan to be into it. I mean, it just seemed like at first, before it was like Daniel Bryan's going to be a part of it, it was like, okay, that's just a random matchup.
I mean, what's sad is that this is exactly where WWE wants Bryan to be.
Yeah.
Mid-card, maybe upper mid-card. But other than like Axelmania and a few other things, Bryan still got the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really sad that they treat him like that, but, whatever. I don't think they're trying to really hold him down. It's just they don't see him as top material, but it's a problem with WWE not noticing that their audience has changed.
And then, like, they have fucking, to get back to Reigns, I guess, a bit. Like, they put over Reigns being, like, super great in the ring and all this. But Luke Harper, and even this match they had, I thought was way more exciting than even the Rollins-Reigns match we'll talk about later. Yeah,
Luke Harper and Bryan was probably the best match of the night. I mean, unfortunately, if you look at the night, it wasn't. It didn't have to do too much to be the best match of the night. But yeah, it was really great.
But I feel like if you gave a Luke Harper-Bryan match time, they would put on. I mean, they've wrestled before.
I mean, look at Ziggler and Harper.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Harper's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever watched any of his indie stuff. Like, if you will go back to Chikara, where he was Brody Lee.
Yeah.
Like, Luke Harper can do fucking, like, the Reigns spot that everybody's all in love with from tonight. The big, like, tope off the over-the-top rope.
Yeah.
Luke Harper can do that.
The problem with Luke Harper, same thing that happened to Bam Bam Bigelow. Once you're a heel, there's a lot of stuff you can't do. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to agree with you. Yeah, I feel like they have a big dude who can do a lot, who's agile, and they're just not showcasing him at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations. I know Bam Bam. He did a shoot interview one time. He mentioned that when you're a heel, in WWE, they don't want you to do all those high flying, badass things if you're a big dude or so, because they'll get you over. As a face, that's not what they're trying to do. But so he has to tone back a lot of his ability. But the truth is, we just want to see great matches.
Yeah, I mean, you can just give me the story of this guy doesn't like this guy for whatever reason, and then go out there and put on a good show. I don't need to see, an opening promo, a mid-show promo, just leading to a big match at the end.
Yeah. This dude's a great wrestler. He gets paid to wrestle. He has to wrestle this other guy who's a great wrestler. Let them fight.
Or you can even do I want the belt. Beating you would prove that I need the belt.
Yeah, I think it's the NXT way of thinking. It's scaled down to just being simple.
Yeah, these people have reasons to fight that doesn't involve backstage segments.
Yeah.
I mean, people like to get on Reigns for having his 5 moves of doom, like Cena. Yeah. And, whether we like it or not, Bryan also has his 5 moves. He's got kicks and running kicks and shit like that.
Yeah, which I think is I don't know, the running knee, I think he's too great of a wrestler for that to be his finisher for some reason.
Oh, well, I guess he can give it back to Kenta.
Yeah, because a lot of everything else has been stolen from him.
Yeah. Poor guy, he's got no moves of his own.
Have you seen it NXT when he goes for the GTS?
Oh, and everybody loses their fucking mind?
Yeah, he just puts them down or something happens because he can't do it for some reason.
When he first did it, I fucking lost my mind. I was like, holy shit, they're going to let him do the GTS. But I was going to get at the fact that Bryan went for his usual spots. Yeah. And Luke Harper had something new and interesting to do instead of letting him do it. When he lawn darted him into the ropes or
Yeah.
the turnbuckle instead of taking a running knee. Like that's how you make those moves not seem so stale.
Yeah.
Instead of clothesline, Superman punch, spear.
Oh yeah. Also, but once again, wasn't that match like overshadowed by outside the ring antics dealing with the IC title?
Yeah, we got more Looney Tunes fucking Daffy Duck shit with the goddamn stealing the belt.
I mean, it feels like it does take away from like the match, what's happening in the ring. I mean, Dean Ambrose didn't have the best match with Bad News Barry, but it was taken away that they didn't really cover it as much because of outside stuff. And
yeah, they had to show Truth a lot. Like, you can barely remember any of the spots from that match.
Yeah.
Because of everything outside. And, like, unfortunately, this is another one of those times where, I mean, the match wasn't very long, but I thought it was a decent match for what it was.
Yeah, for the time they were given, it's a decent match, and a lot was taken away from it just to set up for a match that I didn't even know Bryan was going to be in, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's not much to be excited about WrestleMania this year, but that IC title with just Harper, Ziggler, Bryan is going to make it at least worth watching that.
I feel like that, and like of course Bray Wyatt Undertaker is going to steal the show.
I don't know if it'll steal the show. It's something worth watching.
Yeah,
because there's no telling how that'll end.
Yeah.
So next we got the Alundra Blaze Hall of Fame promo.
Yeah, because she threw the
promo package.
My first thing I thought was like she's going to be in the Hall of Fame, even though she threw the championship in the trash. But they can't forgive Chyna.
But they still keep Hulk Hogan around.
Yeah.
And his video where he also has his 5 moves to do. He didn't even have 5 moves to do. He had missionary, and that's about it.
Yeah.
The knee's gone, brother. The knee's gone. But yeah, I mean, Alundra Blaze did do some stuff. She is kind of the big deal of women's wrestling in the early, 80s and shit.
Yeah.
And, her matches with Bull Nakano were actually pretty good. Bull Nakano, who invented the goddamn Scorpion crosswalk that Paige uses.
Yeah.
The stupid Paige tap out, which I think is a terrible name. So, I don't know. And plus, the Hall of Fame is just sort of whatever.
Yeah, you got like a lot of people in there that are just there. Like Arnold's going to be in it. Well, I guess Arnold makes sense. Was he like the celebrity who's been the most involved with WWE? Like one of the celebrities that been the most involved? He's at least been a lot of episodes of Raw.
Has he though?
I think so. Like
Oh, he was in it like when that movie was coming out. That's one thing.
I think he's been in it for a few movies that are coming out.
I mean, it's just one of those things where if you put Drew Carey in your Hall of Fame, then your Hall of Fame doesn't really mean a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we got the Paul Heyman promo. Speaking of carrying an entire fucking feud on your back.
Oh, Jesus. All right, let's go to last week first.
Oh, where everybody loves Roman?
Yeah, everybody loves Roman. He comes out and he just names like all these people that Roman can never beat. Clearly can never beat. And he comes back out like now.
Hogan.
He comes out now and says no one disputed it. Probably because they wasn't watching Raw. And
I mean, it was a smart way of Heyman, letting everybody know the stuff he said last week wasn't exactly like great, which I think is smart. I mean, Heyman's a good promo no matter what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
I feel like that part of him going, nobody said shit was his way of being like, I wasn't just saying shit, guys.
You think they're making him actually build up Reigns and Lesnar, or is more like, I mean, because he has to sell Lesnar. That's his guy.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want an idea of how good Heyman is at delivering a promo, whenever you think of Brock Lesnar and in your mind you think of it the way fucking Heyman says it,
yeah,
that's just proof right there that this man knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, because every time I think of Brock Lesnar, I think rapist.
Rapist joke.
Yeah, because victimized everywhere. Like
and not Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. Oh man, he sells him as such a fucking beast to the point you can think no one can really beat him. And what gets to me is the fact that I feel like Reigns had so much trouble with fucking Daniel Bryan But then again, if you go by real stats, then fucking Reigns should have beat up Bryan. He's bigger than him. But in the world of professional wrestling, we go by skills rather than like size and stuff.
Well, that's not true. Because if we were going by real wrestling, Kurt Angle would be like the greatest wrestler of all time.
Well, for a while, he was kind of.
I mean, just as far as legitimate skills goes, I felt like even back then, fucking Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar wrestled, and Angle put a whooping on his ass.
Yeah, that's a great matches back then. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
Well, I mean, just like backstage talk. Like if you ever hear shoots with other people and they talk about them too, like legit.
Oh, you mean like legit in the back wrestling, like bullshit around, horseplay.
Yeah, fucking Kurt Angle held his own quite well with Lesnar.
Wow.
Well, shit, if you want to get into it, you remember the story of the plane ride from hell?
Yeah, I've heard some of it. I haven't heard all of it. But was that the one in which, who was it that was it Kofi Kingston? No, that wasn't it. That was a totally different thing.
It was way after, like way before that.
Yeah,
it was where like Flair got nude and people were like shaving people's mustaches and getting drunk and shit.
Oh,
but
God.
in that, Mr. Perfect and fucking Brock Lesnar like went at it just on the floor of the plane, and fucking, Mr. Perfect was holding his own.
Let me ask you this: I always wondered this? Was that the same plane in which William Regal pissed somewhere, or was pissing on stewardess and stuff, or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's it. Him and Goldust were also doing something weird, like not with each other, but they were fucking getting drunk. I think he was singing over the like intercom.
Wow. I've heard stories of it. I heard like charges being pressed.
Yeah.
I've never heard the whole story.
Anybody listening, go read about Plane Ride from Hell. It's interesting.
Oh God.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, Heyman, I don't think he's being told put over Reigns. That's kind of what he does with every one of his promos for somebody against Lesnar. It's always, you're good, but Lesnar's better. And I think he went a bit overboard last week because it was all about sucking Reigns' dick the whole episode.
Yeah. It's Monday Night Reigns, basically.
Yeah, everybody loves Roman. But, I don't know, just, it's Heyman promo, despite all the mic problems.
Yeah. Still killed it.
And he talks shit about fucking Lillian Garcia, like everybody likes to do.
You know, he almost made her cry one time, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they like doing it. They've had jokes on TV about like horse face and shit like that.
Alright, back to
I don't know. They give her a lot of shit. I feel like let her make it, guys.
Yeah, just be nice.
So we got Rollins Reigns.
Yeah, that match, I felt like, okay, Reigns is going to come out, he's going to do his thing, he's going to go over on Rollins, and I'm not going to see it as believable, even though he's already beat Rollins before, because I think Rollins was his last televised match before he got hurt, or at least one of his last televised matches before he got hurt, and he actually beat him clean during Rollins' run with his feud with Dean Ambrose.
Oh yeah, that was on TV right before they were going to have the match on pay-per-view.
Yeah, so that happened. So I knew he went over Rollins before clean. And I think he's wrestling.
That was also stupid because he went over clean, and he was probably going to win that match on the pay-per-view. Why give away the pay-per-view?
Yeah, it was really ridiculous. But I remember that happened. He did wrestle Rollins again afterwards, and I think he either lost or there was interference basically. So it was kind of similar to like this time where there was interference of Rollins won. But I was really thinking that Reigns is going to get this. He's going to run over Rollins. He's going to keep popping him up. And I was surprised. Outside interference, Rollins got the win, and then we got Super Reigns at the very end. He took out everybody.
When he was attacking people on the outside, I was kind of hoping Reigns would clothesline Noble, clothesline Mercury, Superman punch Kane, spear Big Show. He would just do his 4 moves.
Yeah.
So 1 to each person.
Oh, they throw in the Samoan drop.
Oh yeah, he could do that to Rollins.
Yeah.
so there you go. 5 moves a day.
Well, see, the thing about Reigns is his matches. I called it out before. He doesn't have much offense, so he relies on getting the shit kicked out of him until the very end for most of his matches.
Well, let's hurry up and get through this match, and we can talk about Reigns a bit. But I'm not a Reigns fan at the moment. I wasn't a Reigns fan like for a long time. This match was fine. Like I didn't think anything was bad about it.
Yeah.
You know, one thing Roman Reigns does that I'll give him credit for, which is just a little thing that I like that he does, is when he's coming through the crowd. You know, one way to connect with the fans is he does like the fist bumps.
The no-look fist bump?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like, you know, instead of like, you know, playing to the crowd, that kind of one little move can help endear you to certain fans.
Yeah. But
you know, it's just a little thing that I think is fine, that I think is a smart idea that he does.
Well, the thing about Reigns is he can get over as a face easily if they don't script his shit. You know, just let him just be himself. I really liked Reigns back when he was pissed off that everyone didn't believe he should have won the Royal Rumble and was giving him shit for it. I mean, that was great. With him just coming out being pissed, like it's him against the world. He doesn't have much to say. He just come out to kicking ass, being kind of a douche too. I like that. That was cool. That was great Reigns. I felt like he was able to like just kind of be himself, sort of, but not be too like they weren't demanding too much of him. It's when they start making him trying to do these promos like Cena that it just falls apart.
Let me tell you a story about a giant.
Oh, that shit.
I mean, so like let's talk a bit about Reigns real quick before we go, seeing as how we're already done with Raw.
Yeah, basically. Well, I was bringing up the whole thing with him getting beat up most of his matches. I was trying to relate that to this match, just before we move on. Yeah, all of his matches have been, he goes to the ring, he does a couple of moves, gets the shit kicked out of him the entire time, then kind of comes back with 5 moves of doom. And it's kind of to get away from the fact that he has problems really wrestling. And it just made him look weak with certain characters. I always bring up the fact that he got the shit kicked out of him by Fandango. That always bothered me.
That was like his first match back.
Yeah, so it's kind of understandable. But basically, aside from that, he fought the Big Show a shitload of times. And
yeah, that was supposed to be his feud after Rumble.
Yeah.
Before, you know, all the Bryan stuff happened.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like certain wrestlers can bring out the best of like in him. Daniel Bryan certainly did that, and I feel like this match, Seth Rollins did that as well. Where it's not just him just getting the shit kicked out of him; he's actually doing a decent offense.
Well, it's like I said earlier with Bryan and Harper. Like everybody has their signature moves.
Yeah.
And I feel like Harper was able to take those moves and do something different with them. And Reigns really needs somebody who's gonna, you know, mix up the things he does.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe the clothesline misses, he does like a back fist or something. Or, you know, just he goes for one thing and doesn't work, something else happens. Instead of immediately clothesline, cock fist, audience boos, Superman punch.
No. Samoan drop.
Oh yeah, fuck, I keep forgetting that. And I even say 5 moves too.
See, the deal with him, yeah, he needs someone to bounce off of, because certain people can have great matches with certain wrestlers. Like the Big Show, he's had some decent matches with Bryan, believe it or not.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, even John Cena's dragged a like halfway decent match out of the Big Show.
Yeah, so it just depends on who he's wrestling with, and I just feel like this match on Raw, he actually had a chance to show us something different for a change as well. So it's a fair chance he could probably have a pretty decent match with Lesnar down the line if Lesnar actually works with him.
I don't know. I wouldn't save all that for when we get closer to Mania, but I doubt that can happen.
That's if he works with him. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think even like if we watch the Taker-Lesnar match, you know, fucking Lesnar gives Taker a concussion early on. And then it's just kind of a slow, plodding, bullshit-ass match until the end. Because Lesnar's in charge.
Yeah, the truth is... go ahead.
I think Lesnar has to... The same as Reigns, sort of has to be led through a good match. Like the Punk match he had.
Yeah.
I feel like that was all like Punk, you know, putting in moves, telling Lesnar when to fucking hit his big spots. It was more than just the, like, you know, suplex that we see. Like the Cena-Rollins Lesnar match. You know, that was a lot of Rollins putting in the work to make Lesnar look great, other than just his, you know, couple of moves he's doing.
So you really do believe that you got like Reigns, who actually needs to be guided through a good match as well, and then like Lesnar, who needs to be guided through a good match. That they'll probably have an awful, awful match together.
I think at best it'll just be whatever. Like it'll be you do your thing, I'll do my thing, you do your thing kind of deal. Or you get a lot of offense, I'll make a comeback, and we go home.
You think it's gonna get like a lot of heat, like the fucking Goldberg Lesnar heat?
I feel like there's no way that that's not going to happen, just because of all the talk on the internet of lately of Lesnar walking out. I think people are going to have their expectations of what Lesnar is going to do, and they'll just shit on it.
Probably.
So I don't know. That's why I kind of want to save all this till we get closer to Mania to really get into it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the rise of Reigns, because we haven't had a chance to really talk about that. Considering our first episode and all that jazz.
Yeah, we really haven't had a chance to talk about it.
We really had a chance to talk about it at all. So I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about Reigns. You talked a lot about Reigns this entire episode.
I mean, how could you not? He's supposed to be the face of the company.
Yeah, so you have to. There's no other way around it. So we have to talk about him. But
it's the same way you would talk about Cena like a year ago. You would have to bring up Cena every chance you got.
Yeah, because basically. So okay, the Royal Rumble, basically, as everything kind of went down, Daniel Bryan was thrown out, fairly early.
Which makes sense, because you don't want people booing the shit out of Reigns later on. Like, I think the theory was if we get Bryan out of there early, then the crowd will die down, and then we can have our match.
You think that was smart, or you think it was more like, it would have been better to actually have, like, maybe a few guys that could have won it at the very end, and it kind of ended up being Reigns at the end?
It would have been smart to not have Bryan in there at all.
You think so? I mean,
I think that would have been the best thing to happen.
It's kind of a shitty situation they're in, though. I mean, a lot of people are upset that Bryan didn't win, but the truth is, we really look at it, it's really a shitty situation for them. If they leave him out, they get the same kind of backlash they got the year before, basically. And they put him in there, and they're not going to let him win. They have to throw him out sometimes. So it's kind of like, when do you throw him out?
Yeah. If you would have had him in there till the end, maybe people would have been less negative on the whole thing. But I think he still would have got booed out the building. He still would have needed The Rock to attempt to do some sort of patchwork on there to make it alright.
Oh, God, that was awful. Did you see The Rock's face afterwards?
Yeah, he looked so confused.
Yeah, he's like, booze? I've had these in years. He's like, what are these noses they're making with their mouths?
He's looking around for Mr. Burns. Are they saying Boo Worms? I don't get it. But, I mean, it's a thing of even when we saw the Rumble like a year ago, I want to say, when Reigns was having his big, I'm eliminating everybody.
Yeah.
Remember they were then making a big deal about, oh, he's eliminated so many people.
Yeah.
I remember telling you and your girlfriend, fiance, I don't know.
Tag team partner for life.
Alright. I remember telling both of y'all, like, I don't like what they're doing with Reigns. They're putting Reigns over super strong, and I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess at the time we should have known, he's going to go win the Rumble next year and all this.
Yeah.
That should have been a sign.
Yeah, you also noticed the whole Shield changed. Like, the camera work changed where they zoom up into his fucking face when he comes over the barricade as the last person to get into the ring, and then every poster, every shirt had Reigns in the middle.
And even after that, whenever the Shield would have a 3-way match, it was always like, oh, someone's going to go for a move, Reigns grabbing their arm, and he's not letting them do it. He was powering out.
Yeah.
Like one-handed out of moves and shit. And it's like they were putting him over super strong. And I just remember at the time, even at the Rumble, and even after the Rumble, like, I don't get it. This guy has no character. And then when they broke up, it's like Reigns' character was man being pushed.
Basically, yeah. Also, if you actually go back to developmental, there are people who were in developmental with him who would clearly tell you that even back then, they knew that he was going to be the guy who was going to be a top star in WWE simply because he was being pushed. Like, even way back then, they were developing him just solely for that. Like this Reigns is a person they just made to serve one purpose this entire time. I mean, a lot of people have said that, and it just comes down to he is basically just a guy being pushed from the very beginning to the very end. In fact, so we had Dean Ambrose. You know, he wrestled in the independent circuit for a while. Fucking
Moxley.
Yeah, I think he got like what Seth Rollins with Tyler Black.
Tyler Black and ROH.
Yeah, and was he ROH champion?
Yeah.
And NXT champion.
The Phoenix Splash we saw.
Yeah.
In the three-way match was a move he used to do in ROH.
Yeah, I like how he corrected them on Raw. They were talking about it, like he was mentioning the movie. Yeah, she mentioned it by name. I was like, yeah.
It's called the Phoenix Splash, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, these guys already had ring experience, and at the same time, fucking Reigns is just brought up to be fucking the next guy.
See, but completely. It was smart though. It was like the smartest thing they could do. Ambrose is going to talk. Rollins is going to do big spots, and then you have Reigns there to kind of do power moves and be the face. Yeah,
I mean, it was a great combination, but you know.
But once they broke up, Ambrose was the crazy man. Rollins was the biggest heel. He's the biggest heel they have now.
Yeah.
And then what was Reigns? Like, he was man being pushed. Like, he didn't do anything. He had no personality.
It's like okay, they break up. Seth Rollins, he actually betrays them. You got Dean Ambrose pissed off about that. He goes after Seth Rollins. Reigns immediately goes for a championship. He's like, fuck all that. I'm going for a championship now.
I think his next thing was the fucking ladder match for the title.
Yeah. He immediately just moved on from this shit. I mean, it's like, this happened. I'm done with this group. I'm moving on. He basically busted Michael Jackson with the Jackson 5. Like, I'm out of here. Moonwalked away.
Yeah. Sorry, Tito. You get no more fucking airtime. Jermaine, stop laughing. You're going to be nobody.
Basically.
I don't care how many Your Majesties you have.
But yeah, it just he was a guy being pushed the entire time. Now, I hear a lot of people talk shit about the IWC and say that like people cheered for Reigns last year, but now that he won a Royal Rumble, they're booing him and shit, blah blah. You know, the IWC.
We need to stop crying.
Yeah, IWC is a bunch of titty babies and shit like that. Let me just clear some shit up. If Reigns would have won the fucking Royal Rumble last year, I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, this is amazing that this one guy out of nowhere won the Royal Rumble. Because no one saw it coming truly. I mean, yeah, he was being powerful in the ring, but I knew he wasn't going to win the shit.
Oh, man, if he would have won that year, I would have been so upset.
Would you? I mean, everybody knew it was going to be Batista.
Everybody knew it was going to be Batista. They wanted it to be Bryan. But it was just the idea that, sort of like you said, this man who has no character, he's a random guy. He's clearing the ring of people that I don't want to say I give a shit about, but I would rather see, like Ziggler.
Yeah.
Because Reigns is the one who eliminated Ziggler that year.
Yeah.
And it was just a case of like, who the fuck is this guy? Why should I give a shit about him? And the only reason he was getting cheered is because they wanted anybody but Batista.
Yeah, I think it came down to it. I think that would have been the best time to build up Reigns. If Reigns would have won the Royal Rumble, and then it would have developed, building him up to WrestleMania, versus like what they did instead, and try to like force him down our throats, I think he would have survived a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, you have a whole year worth of character development. Like, you could have taken anybody and given them a year of development, and they would be a lot better off.
Yeah, it did start forcing him down our throats, and then he goes away for a while. He gets hurt, and then he comes back and wins the fucking the Athlete of the Year or the Performer of the Year award.
Yeah, a man who had two matches the whole year.
Plus, during the year in which like Brock Lesnar defeated Undertaker's streak, and Daniel Bryan. The
year where Bryan was actually champion.
Yeah, he beat Triple H and basically beat Evolution by himself. If you really think about it. But no. Roman Reigns is like, superstar of the year. I
mean, by that time I wasn't surprised. Like, by then, most people had seen the writing on the walls of he was being pushed hard.
Yeah.
It's like the same year the Bellas won for like Diva of the Year, and they got booed out of the building.
It's like they don't know how to be subtle.
It's the most obvious way of pushing somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like the one time they did something that wasn't so subtle. If you want to give them credit for Bryan becoming champion.
Yeah.
It went over huge.
It did. Here's the thing about that. A lot of people feel that, okay, we know Reigns is going to win the championship, or we knew Reigns was going to win the Royal Rumble. Why are we complaining about it? And I guess like WWE's way of seeing it, or at least Triple H's way of seeing it is, the IWC gets upset when WWE backs someone or get behind someone or push someone. And it's not the way we see it. We get behind when they get behind the right people and push the right people, we're okay with it. I mean, I could clearly, like, if I would have known that Bryan would get to the Royal Rumble and win the whole fucking thing, I would have been fine with it happening like that. Or like Ziggler, or like someone else, you know. It's who they pushed, who they decide to push that bothers us.
I think it's a combination of things, really. Like, it's the idea that out of nowhere, Ziggler's, like, he wins Survivor Series for his team, like, almost single-handedly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like suddenly, oh, you're putting time and effort into a character we actually like. And then you get Roman Reigns, like, pushed into your face. It's like, well, maybe you don't know what you're doing. It's the idea that there's not a middle ground of doing this.
Well, yeah, basically, they're just, to me, cooks in the kitchen. And people are getting into this way. I know they have to go through Vince, so like they have a good idea if Vince can shoot it down, or whatever Vince has that may be bad, they have to push forward because it's Vince's idea. And then Stephanie's going to have her ideas, and the fucking Stephanie has to do her thing. They're not going to shoot that down. Like the whole thing with the Bellas that didn't work out. And no one's going to tell Stephanie it's not working out. It's her idea. Like the little storyline where they dropped out of nowhere with the Bellas against each other.
People gave a shit about it, sort of, up until like Brie suddenly became friends with her sister out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and that's sort of what you're talking about with the writing. It's just, who's writing this?
Yeah, and that fucking cheater, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, what the hell was that about?
Yeah, he had an affair.
They never followed up on it.
Yeah, he had an affair with some like independent wrestler, like posing as a fucking like nurse or something, or whatever, physical therapist. Yeah, that never happened. What I don't get is the fact that Vince Russo, and I'm not the biggest Vince Russo fan. I'm not against him. I like him. I like what he's done before. I've defended him with him being blamed for killing WCW and shit like that. But my thing is, Vince Russo and a few other writers basically scripted the Attitude Era. Yet, not everything was good, of course. But yet, they have 27, 28 writers now. This is the shit we're getting.
I mean, to defend Vince Russo a bit, if you watch some of those old Raws, everybody has a feud, everybody has a story, everybody has something to do.
Yeah, that's the thing they did. I mean, if you take away all the bullshit, like the sex and nudity and all that stuff, and stuff that they were doing, he always made sure that everyone has something to do. Whereas, like, it's a 3-hour show now. It's the longest it's ever been, basically. And there's nothing happening. And you can tell that it's only long for commercials and commercial revenue, basically.
I mean, we have a 3-hour show, and there was no Ziggler at all. Just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening.
He did,
like, Dolph Ziggler's, I don't want to say a main event guy. He's a big deal to a lot of people, and he wasn't even here.
I named my fucking website after him.
Yeah, it's just, how do you not find the time for actual goddamn wrestling matches?
Yeah, I mean, people actually, there's a huge fan base for, Ziggler, even Ryback.
Also not on the show.
Yeah, I just feel like this episode lacked a lot of people. Lacked a lot of great superstars, and it's just they focus on certain people, and that's it. That's and it's 3 hours of the same people, which is fine sometimes. Like to give you an example, the most recent episode of NXT, they didn't have the same superstars they usually have on it, and I kind of found it a little lackluster, but it wasn't bad,
Yeah. I mean, well, you
So-
need episodes like that so you can have other people to give a shit about.
Yeah, you have other people to give a shit about, so it's fine. But I feel like it's like a 3-hour show consisting of the same main people that want to drive home. And there's a lot of people that can give screen time to. You know, not everybody's going to watch, like, fucking, main event? Is that even on still?
Yeah. It's just not on the network anymore.
Yeah. Not everybody's going to watch a main event, or they're going to watch, like, you know, their Sunday show, whatever the fuck it's called.
I don't know. Heat? I don't know.
Superstars or whatever?
Velocity?
Heat, Velocity. No, I think it's Superstars. Not everybody's going to watch that, you know, see, like, people that we don't really give a shit about, mostly. But, yeah, they can give more time to people. I understand commercials and stuff like that, but that means that to scale down on some of their promos.
I mean, it's this kind of, like you said, where we only get a certain number of people on TV. It's that idea that's making, like, people matter and not matter. Like, let's say the BizDow thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, BizDow's not had any interaction with anybody. He's no idea what kind of character he's going to be. So after his thing with The Miz, like, what is he going to do? You know, you spent so much time on just the one thing that you have no idea for anything else going forward.
And he hasn't even been able to have a decent match, really. He hasn't really been in the ring that much.
I mean, even the tag titles, for example. Unless it's somebody wrestling for the title, we don't see any other tag teams, like, working up to, like, be someone to give a fuck about.
Yeah. Alright, we gotta wrap up this show. Till next time, man. Another fucking Raw. Sometimes it get hard to watch. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, well, hopefully this show will give other people, like, who are like, why the hell am I doing this?
Yeah, we gotta be together, like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Because we love it. Deep down inside, I think deep down inside we like to complain about it because we know how ridiculous it is, but we love what it does good, but we're really vicious when it does bad.
It's like Matfu of Botchamania said, like, you have to like wrestling when it's good and laugh at it when it's bad.
Yeah, basically. Please like us on Facebook, and please check out our website, SellerLikeZiggler.com. I'm Notorious JIM.
Uh-huh.
No name.
No.
And El Mysterio.
No, I'm Julian. I'm not going by that name at all.
And we bid you farewell.